Good evening, this is Primetime News on TV1. I am Zaimal Ratnayaka.
And I'm Nicola D'Souza. We start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
Indian Prime Minister's office says report on the Sri Lankan president's statement in cabinet is malicious. Prime Minister Malik and Sagala lead group of 15 to India. Former DIG Nalaka Silva to be questioned further by the CID. Mavanella electoral organizer arrested with 2 weapons including a T-56. The fuel price formula finally revealed.
Good evening. Now we report on a matter of the utmost importance, and I urge you to give this your close attention. Yesterday, the Hindu newspaper reported that at Tuesday's cabinet meeting, President Sirisena reportedly said, "The Indian national must be a raw agent trying to kill me." As soon as this news report was published, 3 government institutions, the President's Office, Secretary to the Cabinet of Ministers, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs all refuted the claim. President Maithripala Sirisena had called the Indian Prime Minister regarding this. Issuing a media release, the Indian Prime Minister's Office has identified these reports as malicious. The release issued by the Indian Prime Minister's Office continues to say the Sri Lankan President mentioned that the mischievous and mala fide reports were utterly baseless and false. At present, the President and the Indian Prime Minister and several other institutions have refuted these reports. However, our Prime Minister is still silent. Today, the Prime Minister, along with Ministers Sagala Ratnayaka and Malik Samaravikrama, went to India. The spokesperson for the Indian Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that the Sri Lankan Prime Minister will call on the Indian Prime Minister as well during this tour. We spoke to the Additional Secretary to the Prime Minister, Mr. Saman Attaudahetti, and the Prime Minister's Media Secretary to ask for a comment about this. Both of these gentlemen said that this matter does not involve the Prime Minister's office. They did not provide any further clarification into this very serious matter. The question at hand now is the details of the cabinet meeting being leaked out to foreign media. In addition, someone or a group are trying to create a crisis among 2 countries and 2 state leaders, and yet our Prime Minister is silent.
The common stance is that this was done deliberately to create turmoil between 2 countries. This was an organized attempt. A few people who are in the cabinet have called her. They have told her about this. That is what the media report says. I have this to ask. Do these people who are trying to create this dangerous situation have the ability to reveal their names if something like this actually happened? The other matter is it should be found out as to who is trying to create a problem among 2 countries after distorting something that was mentioned at a cabinet meeting. It is the responsibility of the whole government to look into this. This was something that was leaked out to a journalist over the phone. It is very dangerous. They have acted to break the relationship we have with another country. Not only that, they have degraded the president and they have attempted to create a turmoil between the president and the leaders there. This has been done purposely to create an issue.
The journalist from the Hindu newspaper, Meera Srinivasan, says she has used sources including 4 ministers to confirm this. Who are these sources? There isn't much to do. All you have to do is to hand over the investigation to the CID. If the phones are taken, then the country will know as to who has leaked the information, who the sources are. However, the Hindu newspaper's journalist was at the cabinet media briefing yesterday as well. We have a serious question. Ask the Minister of Law and Order. Why isn't an investigation being launched under the CID into this? Isn't this a conspiracy to create a turmoil between 2 countries involving the President and the Indian Prime Minister? If the same thing happened in India, they will take action immediately, and there are multiple examples from India to back this claim. Again, the question, what action will be taken against the Hindu newspaper for publishing, as Indian officials have claimed, malicious reports. Who handed this information to the journalists from the Hindu newspaper? Why is the Prime Minister silent? There is another important factor here. Vimal Weerawansa yesterday spoke about the Indian national who has been arrested in connection with the assassination plot. He divulged information that this person was from RAW. He mentioned his badge number issued by RAW as well. However, there has been no comment on this from the Indian side. When this Indian national was arrested, before 2 hours, the Indian High Commission said that this person was mentally ill. It is not too late. The Indian High Commission can still provide a statement on what Vimal Weerawansa revealed. This is a threat against the national security of the country. The law should be enacted on all those who are involved in this. No one is above the law. Even the international community are looking into what is happening in the country. All this should be revealed to the people of the country.
Thank you very much, Faraz. In more local news now, DIG Lanka De Silva, who was in charge of the Terrorist Investigations Division, was interrogated at length today at the Criminal Investigations Department and is expected to appear before the CID again tomorrow.
DIG Lanka De Silva was requested to appear before the CID on the 16th following a revelation made by Namal Kumara, the operations director of an anti-corruption outfit, regarding an alleged plot to assassinate President Maithripala Sirisena and former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa. However, he did not appear on that day, citing personal reasons. Thereby, the Cinnamon Gardens police issued notice on him for the second time. DIG Lanka De Silva arrived at the CID at around 9:30 this morning, where he was interrogated at length.
They should have arrested him and then carried out the investigation. They sent him on mandatory leave. Then they recently suspended him. They should have done the opposite. Now they will probably arrest him as per the information I am getting. An average person will not be so fortunate. Now that police officers who caught the sand lorry were only released after everything finished, is that right? They didn't check if that was right or wrong. This was for something minor. But what about this? This is happening in a situation where they are plotting to assassinate the president, where they consider this minor. We have a problem about this.
Advisors to the president convened a media briefing to speak about the conspiracy to assassinate the head of state.
Why we are talking here is there is a concerted effort to undermine it. That is that. We are not saying that the ongoing process, investigations are flawed. We need a broad investigation process into it. Seems to be some serious situation. Otherwise, law and order minister may not recommend police commission to interdict that senior police officer, and also that it is reported to the magistrates court that the soundtracks of this conversation is real. And also we have seen that foreign national, non-Sri Lankan resident, his name is involved here. Let the rule of law to handle it instead of undermining the seriousness of this. If somebody is trying to undermine or put this issue under the carpet, we see it as a political issue.
My friends asked me if I can represent DIG Lanka De Silva. I did not agree with it. I think he had then requested the service of the Borella national organizer of the UNP, attorney-at-law Ajit Patirana. SWRD Bandaranaike was murdered in his own house. It was a huge conspiracy. If the word got out about a plot to assassinate him and he wasn't murdered, people will say that it was planned by him to cover his weaknesses. In 1962, a plot to arrest and assassinate then Prime Minister Sirimava Bandaranaike was carried out by the top officials of the army. They were all arrested at the end. The prime suspect of the case was acquitted based on a technical matter. He later joined the UNP and was appointed as a secretary to the ministry. This is history. This is not something we can take lightly. There are certain invisible forces behind this assassination plot.
Joint organizer of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party for Mavanella, MIS Carter, was arrested by the police special task force this morning. The police media spokesperson said the arrest was made based on a tip-off received by the Inspector General of Police.
A senior official of the Organised Crimes Preventive Division said that the joint organizer was taken into custody and is currently being interrogated. The STF arrested Imtiaz Kader at his residence in Kegol this morning for the illegal possession of 3 firearms and ammunition. According to the STF, weapons in his possession included an MP5 submachine gun,
T-56 assault rifle and a repeater gun, 79 9mm bullets, 33 T-56 bullets, 17 repeater gun bullets and 11 live ammunition were seized by the STF. The IGP had instructed to further conduct investigations to ascertain as to why the firearms were kept in the suspect's possession. According to the police, a court case is currently underway over charges of illegal weaponry possession. The suspect is currently in the custody of the Organised Crimes Preventive Division and will be produced before the Kegalle Magistrates Court tomorrow.
Speaking at a SLFP media briefing today, Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe commented on the East Container Terminal of the Colombo port.
As the Minister of Ports and Shipping, I submitted a cabinet paper regarding the East Container Terminal of the Colombo port. I requested approval on 4 matters, which relate to the procurement of 5 container cranes to be placed from the ship to the coast and to procure 15 gantry crates. We abolished the proposal and request from the public-private partnership venture introduced in 2016. From this cabinet paper, we seek 100% control of the East Container Terminal of the Colombo port to the Sri Lanka Port Authority. When this cabinet paper was discussed, the President maintained a clear stance on the East Container Terminal of the Colombo port will not be given to anyone. When he visited Nepal for the BIM-STEC summit, he informed Prime Minister Modi that Sri Lanka requires the terminal and it will be held with the Sri Lanka Port Authority. If not, there would be an issue for us. The President explained matters to the Prime Minister Modi. I must make it clear, the agreement was signed before my time. The agreement was presented to Cabinet and was signed by Minister Malik Samaravikrama, representing the government. It does mention the East Container Terminal of the Colombo port. We will have to incur a massive cost for the West Terminal. We have no objection to provide that.
Draft charges were filed at the Colombo High Court against Jatika Hela Urumaya Provincial Councillor Nishantha Sri Warnasinghe on the charge of contempt of court over him providing false evidence. President's Counsel Nalin Ladua Hetty filed this draft in a case concerning former MP Tiran Alas and 4 others. Warnasinghe is the first witness in the case. The President's Counsel stated that Warnasinghe committed contempt of court by providing false evidence while under oath. The President's Counsel requested High Court Judge Vikum Kalwarachi to subject the witness to the necessary legal action. He further stated that he will provide further information in this regard at the end of the recording of the case against the defendants. Minister Patali Champika Ranawaka, who was summoned to court as a witness, did not show at court for the second time. State Counsel Udara Karuna Tilaka stated that Minister Ranawaka is currently overseas, having left the island on Tuesday the 16th to attend an international conference with the permission of the President. The judge asked the State Counsel as to why the minister did not inform of his inability to attend earlier if he had received the invitation in August. The State Counsel did not respond. Dayananda Pereira, who is a personal secretary to Minister Ranawaka, testified today as a witness to the prosecution. The High Court adjourned proceedings and postponed the case till the 11th of December.
The fuel price formula was revealed to the public by Minister of Finance and Mass Media Mangala Samaravira today.
I promised at the previous media briefing that I will present the fuel price formula. It is very simple. This is it. Maximum retail price equals V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus V4. This is the simple formula that we have been using since the 11th of May to formulate fuel prices on the 10th of every month. MRP is the maximum retail price. This is calculated using 4 factors. V1 is the cost incurred on unloading. It is the cost on barrels. The change in exchange rate is also considered here. V2 is the processing cost. This includes local harbour costs and costs incurred when there is wastage. This includes discounts to sale agents and storage costs. V3 is the administration costs. This includes costs for employees' allowance and depreciation costs as well. V4 is for taxation. This includes customs duties, port and airport development taxes, etc. The MRP is a combination of all of these factors. Former MPs Dilan Pereira and SB Disanayake convened a press conference in Colombo today.
The agreement signed by the SLFP and UNP is only valid for 2 years. Accordingly, the present coalition government has exceeded its agreed period and is not legal. So firstly, the present coalition government headed by President Maithripala Sirisena should be halted and made legal. This legal government will not be a caretaker government. The current government not a caretaker government. Neither does it have any power over the people. The current government is illegal and should be made legal. It is only then the 19th Amendment is effective. The coalition government must withdraw and a new cabinet of ministers comprising of a prime minister and 30 ministers must be appointed. Otherwise, the executive committee should take a decision to continue in a current government which needs to be proposed and seconded in parliament once again. It is only the president who was appointed within a legal framework.
After the cabinet meeting concluded yesterday, a few ministers stated that the president has alleged that the Indian intelligence unit is plotting against his murder. However, when the president was informed of this, he immediately refused making such a statement. This was further conveyed through cabinet spokesperson Rajitha Senaratne. However, the Prime Minister has requested for more time to discuss this matter with Indian counterparts. This is what led to Indian Prime Minister Modi to have discussions with President Sirisena. Even after the President refused making such remarks, the Prime Minister has scheduled a trip to India to further discuss plans to murder President Sirisena. Prime Minister Wickremesinghe is trying to destroy President Sirisena's relationship with India. Everything is a plot. I believe the second conspiracy to destroy President Sirisena's political career commenced yesterday.
දේශපාලන වශයෙන් ඝාතනය කිරීමේ දෙවෙනි කුමන්ත්‍රණය ඊයේ ක්‍රියාත්මක වුණා කියලා තමයි මම දකින්නේ.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and several other members of the joint opposition attended a media briefing at the former president's residence in Vijayarama today.
රූප ඔබතුමා යහන ප්‍රශ්න හොඳයි. රූපවාහිනිය අහන්න ඕන ප්‍රශ්නේ ඒක මංගල සමරීර මහත්තයාගේ ආයතනේ. ඒක මඩ යන්නේ ඒක දන්නවා මේ රටේ හිරකාරුවෙක් කියන බලන්නේ රූපවාහිනියම. නෑ නෑ ඔයාට දීපු කොන්තරාත්වනේ මංගල කවුද කිව්වේ සුවාදීන් නැහැ කියලා දිගන. අපි කිව්වේ නෑ. නෑ නෑ නෑ. ඕ රංජනාමනාගේ මහත්තයා දාන්න ආයතන.
ඔබට මංගල සමරවීර වැරදි තොරතුරු දීලා තින්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මංගල සමරවීර ඇමතුමාට කියන්න හරි තොරතුරු දෙන්න කියලා. නැත්නම් ඔයා අමාරු වෙන්න පවුනේ.
හරි දැන් ඔබතුමා දැන් අපි ඇතිනේ. අපි දැන් අපි නාත්තරෝ දැන් ඉවරයි. We'll let you know about that. We are studying it. We'll let you know about it. එහෙනම් බොහොම ස්තුතියි ඔක්කොමට ගොඩක් ස්තුතියි.
Still in local news, UPFA MP Johnston Fernando convened a media briefing today and expressed the following views.
කෙනෙක්ම මේ යහපාලන බෝඩ් එකට මුවා වෙලා ඉතාමත් සැලසුම් සහගත ලෙස නිර්මාණශීලීව දාපු නඩුවක්. මට දාපු නඩුව. යහපාලන ආණ්ඩුවට ඕමන සිරිකොතට
The cases filed against me have been done very astutely by people while leaning on the Yahapalana board. The FCID is a branch that is loyal to the UNP and to Sirikota. This is a plot to destroy politics that was hatched in 2012 with massive amounts of mudslinging and allegations. I know what they planned and what they discussed. Ranil Wickremesinghe has planned to remain UNP leader till 2030. He is very good at playing the role of dictator. The Prime Minister of this country is hiding behind his privileges and is attacking media institutions. He is even calling out journalists by name. Businessmen are holding media briefings and saying that ministers are demanding bribes. Now these ministers are also pointing the finger at the media. They will have to repay their karma. The UNP has more issues than we do. We know how Ranil Wickremesinghe attacks Sajith Premadasa. What is Malik doing? How is he making money? How is he stealing? How is it that Malik Samara Wickrama distributed money among MPs? They distributed the money that they stole from the central bank by bringing it in trucks.
ආයතනයේ 2006 ඉඳලා හිටපු සභාපතිතුමත් හිටියා. මගේ සම්බන්ධ කරන ලේකම්වරයෙකුත් හිටියා. ඔවුන් දෙන්නම නිර්වස්ත කරලා ඉවරලා සිරකරු ඉස්සරහ නිර්වස්ත කරලා ලුණ චෙක් කෙරුවා. ආණ්ඩුවෙන් එවපු කණ්ඩායමක් විසින්.
The leader of the Mahajana Eksat Peramuna, Dinesh Gunawardena, convened a press briefing today.
ඒකාපති පක්ෂ මෙදස්සල සහයෝගය දක්වන පක්ෂවල නායකයෝ ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂකයා පිළිබඳව විවිධ මත පළ කරනවා.
We as the joint opposition have not come to a decision. I can assure you that the topic of who should be presented has not been discussed. We are still of the view that Mahinda Rajapaksa should be the presidential candidate. If he can contest, he will be the candidate. We can't change the poyas. We are defeating this government systematically.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa has appointed a 3-member committee to develop a plan for the revival of the economy.
It comprises former officials of the Rajapaksa administration, Central Bank Governor Ajit Niwad Cabral, Secretary to the Prime Minister Amarasekara, and Chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission Nalaka Godaheva. The record of these officials is questionable and played a role in the defeat of the Rajapaksas at the 2015 election. Ajit Niwad Cabral was under investigation for the controversial investments in Greek bonds costing the state losses of billions. The direct loss to the central bank from these questionable bonds was 1,257 million rupees. Nepotism was high. His sister Shiromi Wickramasinghe was a director within the Perpetual Group when Perpetual Treasuries Limited was awarded the primary dealer license. Shiromi Wickramasinghe also was CEO of Lanka Putta Development Bank, which invested more than 300 million in failed budget airline Mihin Lanka. Significant purchase of shares using EPF funds at higher prices at the time. He was accused of facilitating the appointment of directors to banks. Cabral, as head of the central bank, appointed PR consultants with higher cost. These incidents took place when Ajit Niwad Cabral was serving as governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. Nalaka Godaheva was associated with others in the so-called pumping and dumping scandal amidst claims of price manipulation at the Colombo Stock Exchange. Godaheva was also to cause controversy with the so-called Krish project amidst allegations of graft. Godaheva, as the chief of the SEC, was also charged for misuse of funds which ended up for an event organized by Namal Rajapaksa. The case is ongoing. President Rajapaksa's reaction to the pumping and dumping scandal was to appoint Godaheva to the top slot at the SEC. 4 years into this government, the minister in charge of the subject of the SEC, the Ministry of Finance or the SEC themselves have not instituted legal action against anyone involved in the pumping and dumping scandal. These are the officials Mahinda Rajapaksa is apparently relying on to provide answers on an ailing economy. We'd like to remind the former president the mistakes that took place during his tenure and the mistakes that are taking place under the current prime minister. If this is the team that is being selected by the former president to realize the economic dream of the country, all we can do is to wish him good luck and all the best.
In some news relating to Sri Lanka cricket, now information is beginning to surface that the former head of finance of the Sri Lanka cricket, who was holding office at the time when details of an attempted large-scale financial fraud was reported, is avoiding the Criminal Investigations Department.
Media reports claim that officials of the CID visited the former head of finance's residence situated in Nugegoda several times to record a statement, but their attempts proved futile as there was no one available. Speaking in Parliament, the former president of SLC, Tilanga Sumutipala, said this could have been a cyber attack.
According to my experience, spanning over 20 years, one cannot transfer money in and out of an account. However, they must have tried to launch a cyber attack.
At a media briefing held in this regard, an official of the IT team of SLC also confirmed that such an attack could not have occurred.
We have clear evidence to prove that the email was sent from our server. This is why we decided to address this to the upper level and to get an investigation done through an independent authority, more specifically through a cyber crimes division. We have stellar evidence to prove that it had not been hacked. We can locate it, but we need to do an in-depth analysis, and we will require the assistance of the cyber crimes division since they have more facilities than we do. The cricket board has an IT department, not a cyber crimes division.
Cricket board IT department cyber crime division.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's primetime news. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Zaimal Ratnayaka. Take care.
Good night.